Welcome to Casa Fuzetta, the House of Stories, with me, Tara.
And me, Kate. Early in 2024, Condé Nast Traveler named Casa Fuzetta one of the best yoga retreats in the world.
In the first few episodes, we explore how I found myself taking on the renovation of 3 derelict buildings in a country I'd never been to, knew no one, and didn't speak the language. And to top it off, I had absolutely zero experience of restoration projects.
In the previous episode, we had a wonderful interview with Kat, founder of Cheeky Yoga Club, who shared why Casa Fuzetta has become a retreat venue with a waiting list stretching several years into the future.
But in this episode, we thought you might like to get a sense of why we love Olhão. To set the scene, Olhão is a working fishing town on the coast of the Eastern Algarve, 10 minutes east of Faro in the south of Portugal. And if you're Brit, you may well have been to the Algarve, but I would hesitate to guess that in most cases you will have turned west at Faro Airport and to the resorts of Quinta do Lago and Val de Lobo.
Olhão is very, very different, and long may that continue. This recording was made last November, and you'll hear it was made on Tara's birthday.
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday! And we wanted to capture some of the sounds and life in Olhão itself.
I have to admit, we were in our very early days of learning how to record with walkabout mics.
Well, there's a little shout out for one of my favorite parts of this whole experience. The shout out is for Rode and their little fuzzy mics, which attach to the collar, let's say, or wherever on the person, but they look like little fuzzy pom-poms.
You love a pom-pom.
I love a pom-pom.
So we had a few problems using the tech, but the problems were all ours, nothing to do with Rode.
Nope, ours.
And we hope that you enjoyed this little detour and a little taste, sound, not quite sure, sample of the life and sounds in and around Olhão. We're about to do one of our regular things, which is to leave the house to go off to the market. But first we have to get out.
We have struggled a little bit to leave the house, partly because we love it, but also partly, stepping out into the sunshine after a really fresh rain.
So yes, it's only taken us 2 hours to get out of the house and to work out all the different bits of tech to record something. But hopefully this will work and we'll have a little giggle along the way.
I think we're definitely going to have a giggle, which we do a lot. And I think this is, I personally love.
Oh, but it's the warmth.
Yes.
Because we're here on my birthday.
On your birthday. It's your birthday.
29th of November.
Yes, thank you.
And it did rain overnight, but it's warm.
Fresh, clean, warm, lovely.
And the sun's come back out. It just rained for a little bit overnight. And we're walking down through the very wobbly, cobbled streets of Olhão with a bougainvillea smiling at us. Yeah, shining. I was going because it's all covered in little sort of raindrops.
It's lovely and they're
catching the sun,
in the sunlight.
And heading down to the market, and we'll see what we can find. We're after naughties and definitely pastel de nata.
Yes, where one is allowed to have sweets in the morning or some kind of treat. What I love here is all the tiles on the buildings.
Oh, there's one for every taste and decade and century even.
It's such a great romp through history, isn't it? The various tiles.
Yes, and the architecture, you get all these extraordinary buildings next to each other.
And the streets are very narrow.
So we have to stop to let the cars go past.
It's advisable.
Yes, otherwise I get my toes.
Oh, wow.
My nose.
So looking at this, the plant, so we're stopped outside the really beautiful house. A lot of faded glory in this house.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of potential as well.
The plants. Oh, and actually, we went to have a look at a building behind it and had the opportunity to see in because it looks like so many of these houses do. Looks quite small from the outside, but I can tell you it stretches all the way back to the next street.
Wow.
And then they got this enormous garden. I'll take a picture and we can share it in the show notes.
Fantastic.
So it's one of the most photogenic houses in Olhão, not least because...
Bom dia.
Bom dia. Como está? Não,
American.
American.
Hã?
American? American?
Não.
Estados Unidos.
Francês, português?
Vous parlez français?
Sim.
Parfait.
Ah, bonjour.
Yes. Bonjour.
Ça, c'est la maison. A déjà de beaucoup d'années qu'il est là et le propriétaire, ils sont pas là.
Ils sont pas là, mais il y a des gens qui habitent
Il y a des
à
gens
l'intérieur.
là-dedans.
So we're just passing the town hall, and this lovely lady is a neighbour who's
yes.
telling us about. I don't know how good your French is.
My French is not that good.
Okay. So this lovely lady's been telling us about how she bought a house nearby from a friend.
Oh, yes.
And has been doing it up.
Là.
So we're getting a little potted history of.
Faro, 21 years?
Yes, Rita was in Faro for a while, but said doesn't hold a candle to Olhão, and everybody in Faro wants to come here, but also talking about how, because Olhão has become so popular in the last sort of 5-10 years, that the prices have shot up.
They have.
And in fact, yeah, on almost every street corner there's an estate agent.
Yeah.
But although there aren't that many houses left to sell.
Gotcha.
And as we know, so there's either an estate agent or a renovation underway. We can hear the
Works
we
in the
can hear
background?
the works in the background. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay.
Bon, on va vous laisser. À bientôt. On va passer par ici.
À bientôt.
À bientôt, Rita.
Enchantée.
Okay. Enchantée.
Oh, pardon. Sorry.
Bye.
Lovely.
But
Sweet.
also a real example of the fact that actually the older generation who the things we learn or definitely not taught in our history lessons at school is that during the Salazar years, which stretched from 1920 to 1970, I think it's 1974,
Don't quote me on that, but we'll have to fact check that one.
that
It was a long time.
particularly post-war, lots of people left the country in droves because of the very harsh and very conservative regime that left the country in complete poverty. And so there was a massive brain drain. Anybody who could get out really did leave. And of course, Spain was under Franco, that's it, thank you. Spain was under Franco at the time, so, and there's always been an antipathy, as there always is, between neighbouring countries,
Yes.
between Spain and Portugal. Most people went to France. But now, in the last sort of,
I didn't know that.
last couple of decades, those older generations have been returning to Portugal. Which is why, actually, suddenly my French education is coming back.
I was very impressed.
It's very rusty. My God, it's rusty. But they speak French.
Yes.
They don't speak English. Whereas you will find that all the under 40s, they all speak English.
Gotcha.
So
did Rita live in France?
yes, so I
Hence
think
her
she
French is-
exactly hence her French.
Yeah.
So she left, but she was I think she made some money in France, and then which is something that a lot of people did, and in
Yeah.
fact, not always without issues coming back and tax issues. It's something that actually one of our house team's family experienced recently. Yeah, suddenly the tax guys are after tax for the decades that they were living and working in France.
No.
And it's, ouch. And like, they were looking for a significant amount of money and the families were like going,
Hang about.
hang about.
Now, just before we do this, we've come out, we've walked through the village, the town, we've come to the water's edge. Now we're in this buzzy little space with loads of cafes, sunshine gleaming off the water, and we're about to walk into one of the most beautiful buildings, one of the prettiest markets, and a functioning market by Eiffel.
Well, don't know. Bit of an urban myth maybe about that one.
Okay.
Maybe the school of Eiffel.
In the style of.
In the style of.
After.
But he did, of course, Gustave Eiffel of the famous Eiffel Tower. did build the famous lifts in Lisbon. So again, it's not beyond the realm of possibility, but let's focus on the, we can't share the smell, but it's just
One of my favorite smells. Market, which is glorious to see because we rarely see big fish markets anymore. I rarely see them, I should say. And it's got everything from like loads of different types of shrimp.
And I
looks like
will
mackerel.
record some stuff for you in the show. We'll put links in the show notes so that people can see. But yes, this
Busy and active, isn't it? And it's really
always
used all the time.
It's not a tourist destination, although of course actually, particularly in the summer, people come in their droves, and that's why it's so nice coming at this time of year, because it's what it's supposed to be, which is locals. And never quite sure. Woo, look at this.
I don't even know what that is.
No,
And the
neither do
squid
I.
is amazing. Wow.
But
Cuttlefish, squid, and really interesting sort of looking, very slim fish. Something beautiful.
and actually, so yes, I do. This is called It's now the only place in the country, probably that means in the world, that makes this, and they air dry it.
Okay.
And and they air dry it. And one of the reasons there'll be so much of it now is that it's a real speciality for Christmas.
Ah, okay.
Not sure I get it. To be honest, I haven't tried it. Doesn't look. I'm not. The one thing in Portuguese life that I have not converted to is bacalhau, which is the salted cod.
I quite like salted cod.
No. And Litão strikes me as one of those. But going back to the Litão, what's amazing is that there's actually only one family that still has the knowledge. So if anybody catches the particular fish, they take it to that family to do the drying.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But
It's a happy place with lots of connections, isn't it? Like people greeting each other, laughing. I love that feeling. Excited to see one another. It makes shopping a lot more fun.
Yeah, and also, of course, it's they're real family affairs.
Yes.
They're family businesses. So you'll often have husbands, wives, kids, grandkids. They're all working in the business, whether they're out on the boats, whether they're in the markets. And look, you've got those huge conch shells.
Yes.
I don't know. Although it has to be said, a friend got very excited and bought one to take home. And they said the smell was something else. They had to put it at the bottom of the garden.
Yes.
Very far away, but
Sometimes soaking it in a little water with bleach will remove the smell. There's two parts to the market, isn't there, here? There's a fish section and then vegetables and poultry.
Yes, there are two big red top markets that sit next to each other and again sit literally next to the water's edge. And so these markets are open every morning, every day other than Sunday. And then on Saturday mornings, the waterfront comes alive because all of the local smallholders come from 20 miles around, and they come with literally what's been in the ground the day before.
It's amazing.
And everybody comes. It's very social, and everybody stocks up on their produce for the next trip. And it's a riot of colour and smells and just fabulousness.
Yeah, and the buildings themselves on the inside are interesting because they're really functional and smart. You've got either side, you've got banks of different fish sellers, and then there's a central sort of island. And what would you say this is in terms of the size of the building?
Ooh.
A football pitch? Bigger?
I'd say it's probably about the length of a football pitch, but possibly not as wide.
Okay, and then either side, about halfway up or 2/3 of the way up, it's tiled, which is fantastic because there's scenes of starfish, seahorses.
Yes, lots of different sort of nautical fishy things.
And there's definitely something fishy going on here. That is fantastic. Is it called?
Oh yeah, those are the
Carabinero.
carabinero. They're like highly prized. You can see that's 30 euros a kilo versus the regular camarão prawns, which are 16. So it's pretty much double the price, but they're
They
an
jump out
extraordinary
at
colour.
you in bright red.
Although,
Bon dia.
yeah, and they are. So what I really love about the fact here is that they put on the cards for every fish where it's caught, how it's caught, or whether it's been farmed. And so the red carabinero is telling us here it's been caught off the coast of Portugal in the northeast Atlantic, and captured at sea. So it's not been farmed. Whereas, I have suddenly found myself, you think something looks amazing and then you look a bit closer and you can say, oh, actually, maybe it was from a fish farm off the coast of Spain.
Yes.
But they are...
That's great to know where it's come from and how it's,
yes, exactly. So you make your
arrived
choices
on your plate. Exactly.
Yeah. So that it's not hidden. They're really, again, it's one of the things that I really admire about the Portuguese is sometimes the bureaucracy. You're like, oh my God, it's strange. But things like that, amazingly transparent. It's quite simple to do. And everybody honours
we're aiming for it in other parts of the world, and they're there, which is incredible.
And so now a very different energy.
Yes.
Much calmer. This is the tender. Maybe it's a thing because this is the women.
Oh, could be.
But also, I suppose they're not chopping and cleaning the fish, so you get a different. So it's a different sensory experience. And yes, actually, I've never really looked before, but on the walls, suddenly the artwork is all about nature.
Produce.
So it's produce and trees and birds
And one of the things that strikes me when you come in is there's a different smell. It's a sweeter smell, like obviously all the fruits, and there's amazing displays, but you've also got honey and nuts and dried fruits
and jams and homemade jams and
absolutely.
But mind you, beware of the homemade because that's not sweet. That'll give you a kick and a half.
That'll wake you up.
That will wake you up. But yeah, I mean,
and these wonderful I bought and I sadly don't have anymore. I might have to replace one here. The honey jars out of ceramic that are hand painted and
yes, they
the chimney pots.
They have over there. Yes, there you go. I've never really.
Bon dia.
Hola, bon dia.
And all dressed for Christmas.
Yes, all dressed for Christmas.
Fantastic.
Very good. Yes, I'd never. They are gorgeous. Look.
They're lovely. And there's one.
The lady with her sun hat.
Yeah. Farming seeds. And then some are shaped like the chimney pots, which you're famous for in the area as well, I believe.
Yes, the Algarve chimneys are quite something. I should know. We've had to rebuild ours a few times.
Closely associated with the chimney pot.
Oh, yes, and the insides. In fact, we were talking about, chimney sweeps just yesterday.
Absolutely. And then there's the couple, the two gentlemen.
Oh, have to take a picture of that.
Those are fantastic.
We'll share all of these in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. They're great.
Look
bon dia.
Hola, bon dia.
That is lovely, sweet, and I'll be back.
But yes, lots of home harvested, locally
produced, locally
honey,
sourced, and then I love all the craft that goes into it because they're beautiful as well as.
And then they've got all these liqueurs. Hola, bon dia, bon dia. So they've got almonds and fig and ginger. I don't. Yes, it's ginger.
Cereja, gingin.
Okay, cerejas. Oh, okay, cerejas, cherries. Alfaroba is carrot.
Laranja.
Strawberry, orange.
De amêndoa.
Almond.
De figa.
Fig.
De bolota.
Que é bolota?
De canela. É tipo a castanha.
Chestnut. Oh, okay.
Martunho, poês, medronho, limão.
Oh, every
Everything.
flavour.
Lovely.
Look, and that's also what I'm saying. Look at that. This one.
This is the peri peri sauce
That's with a health warning.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just saying that one's spicy. It's like the other ones are spicy too.
Yeah, you can see the number of chili flakes in the peri peri sauce.
But yeah. Now this has become my favorite little coffee
Let's
spot.
go for it. I'm excited. Now we're looking out, turning right from the market onto the ocean, which I have to say is gorgeous, and it is like little jewels with the sun sparkling on it. Yum.
So we could sit right in the sun on the waterfront, or maybe there's a little table over there.
Fantastic.
Look at that.
Yes, and have a coffee.
Have a coffee. So we will leave you all and join you back again in a moment.
Yes.
Because we're going to enjoy a little bit of sunshine and a little
Gato.
because of course there's all sorts of different coffees in Portugal,
Ooh.
which we've had to get to know all the different terms of, and that's probably even the subject of a
total podcast.
Of a total podcast.
Tune
because
in
the
again.
Portuguese seriously take their coffee seriously.
Excellent. And on that note,
the neighbourhood around Casa Fuzetta. I've also included in the show notes links to the road mics that we mentioned for those who are looking to create their own podcasts. And I've also included links to coffee culture in Portugal, where you can find and start to understand all of the different types of coffee that is offered around the country.
in our next episode, we invite you to jump in the taxi with us for the short drive to our new favorite garden-to-table restaurant called Osta. It was opened in summer of 2023 by Emma and her husband David. Their plans for traveling the world went awry during COVID, and they decided to see out the pandemic with Emma's parents in Portugal. As with Tara, one thing quickly led to another, and they started a deep dive into all the design and foodie gems being produced across Portugal, and brought this all together to create their restaurant Osta.
As ever, we'd love to hear what you think about the series and this episode. Apologies to all my Portuguese friends, because I know that I've been on a journey in learning Portuguese and my pronunciation of bacalhau was pretty horrific. But beyond that, we have a dedicated email address in the show notes where you can send us all your podcast related questions. And of course, help us spread the word and subscribe to the series and share it with your friends and family. Até a próxima.
Até a próxima!